Welcome to another fascinating journey into the world of rare American coins, where tiny pieces of metal tell the greatest stories of history, economy, craftsmanship, and wealth. Today we are diving deep into one of the most surprising and intriguing coins in American numismatic history, a coin that most people overlook in their daily lives, yet in certain cases has been valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars. I am talking about the 1974 Liberty Quarter Dollar from the United States of America, a coin that many of us have seen, touched, or even still have tucked away in an old jar or dresser, but a coin that in rare conditions has shocked the collector's market with sales soaring into hundreds of thousands of dollars, with reports that some unique examples today are estimated to have a market value of as high as $0.33 million. Yes, you heard that right, a quarter dollar with a face value of just 25 cents potentially worth $330,000. How is that possible? Why does this coin carry such tremendous value? And how did a simple quarter from 1974 become a legend in the world of rare coins? That's exactly what we are about to uncover in detail. The story of the 1974 Liberty Quarter begins in the larger context of American history and coinage. By 1974, the U.S. Mint had already transitioned away from the silver quarters that were once common in circulation. Prior to 1965, quarters contained 90% silver, and these coins are still highly sought after today for both their precious metal content and their collectible status. However, due to rising silver prices and economic adjustments, the United States Mint was forced to change the composition of the quarter in 1965, shifting to a copper-nickel-clad coin that gave the quarter the familiar look we still see today. So, by the time 1974 rolled around, the quarters being struck were copper-nickel-clad coins weighing 5.67 grams, measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter, with the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse, and the American eagle on the reverse. Designed originally in 1932 by John Flanagan, this Washington quarter design continued in use throughout the 1970s, before eventually being replaced by the State Quarters program in 1999. But in 1974, the Washington quarter was not seen as particularly rare, nor did most people think of it as an investment. It was a coin for everyday use, carrying pocket change value, vending machine value, and the standard use in commerce, yet numismatic history teaches us that sometimes the most ordinary coins can become extraordinary when rare minting circumstances, errors, varieties, or perfect conditions collide. That's exactly the case with the Liberty 1974 quarter dollar. While millions upon millions of these coins were struck, and most are still only worth their face value or perhaps a small premium in uncirculated condition, certain rare varieties, error coins, and pristine high-grade examples have skyrocketed in value, commanding attention from collectors worldwide and breaking into the six-figure range. To understand why the 1974 quarter can be so valuable, we need to look carefully at the different factors that determine coin value, rarity, condition, historical significance, and collector demand. Let's start with rarity. Although the mintage numbers for 1974 were large, not all coins survive in the same condition. Coins struck for circulation went through the everyday wear and tear of commerce. Over the decades, most 1974 quarters were handled countless times, scratched, rubbed, and lost their sharp detail. However, a tiny percentage were preserved in pristine, almost flawless condition, often ending up in collector sets, rolls, or bags stored away untouched. These coins, when certified by professional grading companies such as PCGS or NGC at the highest levels like MS67 or MS68, become incredibly rare. Collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts for such coins, because assembling a top-quality set of Washington quarters requires these rare gems. That's where we begin to see coins worth thousands, tens of thousands, and in special cases, even hundreds of thousands. Another factor that makes the 1974 quarter especially fascinating is the existence of unique mint errors. Coin errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, and instead of being discarded, the coin slips through quality control and enters circulation. Errors might include double strikes, off-center strikes, coins struck on the wrong planchet, or coins with unusual die varieties. Some 1974 quarters have been discovered struck on 40% silver planchets intended for bicentennial coins or on planchets meant for other denominations, creating a spectacular rarity. Such mint errors are like lightning strikes in numismatics, rare, unpredictable, and enormously valuable when found. Collectors prize these error coins as treasures because they represent moments where the precision of the mint collided with human or mechanical imperfection, resulting in something truly one of a kind. The historical background of the 1974 quarter also adds to its mystique. This was a time when the United States was grappling with inflation, changing monetary policy, and the aftermath of abandoning the gold standard. The nation was in transition, and so too was its coinage. The Washington quarter stood as a familiar symbol of stability, carrying the face of the first president, George Washington, and the national emblem of the eagle, yet underneath this simple design lay a story of change, adaptation, and survival. Every 1974 quarter is a reminder of that period in American history, and for collectors, coins serve as tangible links to the past, small metal artifacts that hold the spirit of their time. Now let's talk about condition and grading, because this is where the market values truly skyrocket. The majority of circulated 1974 quarters are worth only 25 cents, maybe a few dollars if lightly worn. But if you happen to find a coin that looks fresh from the mint, with no scratches, no wear, blazing luster, and sharp detail, you could be holding something far more valuable. Grading services evaluate coins under strict standards, and the top grades are exceedingly rare. For example, a 1974 quarter graded MS-67 or MS-68 could easily fetch thousands or tens of thousands at auction. There are even stories of such coins reaching well over six figures when the demand peaks. That's where we get into the realm of market values like $0.33 million, for the rarest, highest quality, or most extraordinary error examples. Auction history backs this up. Time and again, we see ordinary coins bring extraordinary prices when they appear in the right grade or with the right error. Collectors often compete aggressively for these coins, driving the price far beyond what most people would ever imagine. And remember, the beauty of this is that these coins sometimes come from unexpected places. Someone might discover a 1974 quarter sitting in a coin jar, passed down from grandparents, or found in an old collection. That's the magic of coin collecting, the possibility that treasure lies hidden in plain sight. The modern coin market has only increased the demand for rare quarters. With the internet, auctions, and global interest, the competition for top coins has grown fiercer than ever. The 1974 Liberty Quarter has gained attention as a sleeper coin, one that people once ignored but now realize has tremendous potential. And when a coin is rumored or confirmed to have sold for values approaching $0.33 million, it cements its place as a legendary collectible. Collectors want it, investors seek it, and ordinary people suddenly become curious if the change in their pockets might be worth a fortune. The symbolism of the 1974 quarter also resonates with people. The obverse with George Washington is not just an image, it's a reminder of American ideals of liberty, leadership, and unity. The eagle on the reverse embodies strength, vision, and freedom. Holding a 1974 quarter is like holding a piece of America's identity, minted in metal, preserved in time. When combined with rarity, error varieties, and perfect condition, that symbolism transforms into tangible value. It's why collectors are willing to pay such massive amounts for what looks, at first glance, like just another coin. Imagine the thrill of pulling a shiny 1974 quarter from circulation, sending it off to be graded, and discovering it's a near-perfect MS-68. Suddenly, you're no longer holding 25 cents, you're holding a piece potentially worth tens or hundreds of thousands. That's the allure of numismatics, and that's why the 1974 Liberty Quarter dollar has captured so much attention. For many, it's the dream of turning pocket change into life-changing money, all because of the hidden value within rare coins. Today, the current market value of the most exceptional 1974 Liberty quarters is estimated at around $0.33 million, a figure that shocks those outside the coin community but makes perfect sense to dedicated collectors. These are not just coins, they are historical artifacts, art pieces, investments, and symbols of rarity all rolled into one. My great fellows and dear friends, now we go to another fascinating journey into the world of coins, treasures, and hidden pieces of American history that could be resting quietly in your pocket change or coin jar right now. Today's second episode is not just any ordinary story, but one of those extremely important tales that reveals how a simple coin, a Liberty $1/4 struck in 1980 at the Denver Mint, known as the 1980 D Washington quarter, can hold value far beyond its small face denomination. Imagine finding a 25-cent coin that could potentially be worth an unbelievable $30 million in today's market. Yes, you heard that right, $30 million for a coin that many people once used casually to pay for a gumball, a bus fare, or a soda from a vending machine. But what makes this coin so special? How does history play into its value, and why is it considered so important in the numismatic world? Today, I am going to take you through a deeply detailed, fascinating, and engaging story that will uncover every aspect of the 1980 D Liberty $1/4. From its origin, design, symbolism, minting process, errors, collector's fascination, its rise in value, and finally, its jaw-dropping market price, this script will reveal it all. So, sit back, stay focused, because by the end you might find yourself rummaging through your coin collections, wondering if you might just own one of these rare treasures. Let us begin with the origin. The $1/4 has been one of the most significant coins in American history. Since the late 1700s, when the first quarters were minted under the authority of the Coinage Act of 1792, this denomination became a cornerstone in American commerce. But the specific design we are discussing today, the Washington quarter, has its own proud story. It first appeared in 1932, designed to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. John Flanagan, the artist chosen to design this piece, created a portrait of Washington for the obverse, while the reverse showed a majestic eagle with spread wings. That design became iconic and remained in circulation for decades, including through the 1980s. The 1980 D quarter carries this traditional design, meaning on the front we see the left-facing bust of George Washington with the word Liberty above, the national motto "In God We Trust" to the left, the date 1980 below, and the small mint mark D, indicating Denver, right behind Washington's neck. On the reverse, the eagle perches proudly, wings stretched, clutching arrows symbolizing strength and defense, surrounded by olive branches for peace, and inscriptions reading United States of America and E Pluribus Unum, along with its value of $1/4. At first glance, this design might not appear unusual or extraordinary, but here lies the magic. Even common designs can hide extraordinary variations, errors, or production quirks that catapult their value into the millions. The 1980 D quarter is precisely one of those fascinating cases. To understand why, we need to look deeper into how it was minted, the conditions of that year, and what sets apart a rare collectible from everyday pocket change. In 1980, the Denver Mint was one of the busiest facilities in the country, producing hundreds of millions of quarters to meet America's booming demand for coinage. With such mass production, the potential for mistakes was always present. From double strikes to off-center strikes, from planchet errors to mint mark misplacements, any deviation could turn an ordinary quarter into a unique specimen. The value of $30 million for a single 1980 D quarter is tied to its extreme rarity, connected either to a mint error of astronomical uniqueness or to its exceptional preservation in perfect condition. Collectors and experts often debate which specific 1980 D quarters are worth fortunes, but what we do know is that graded, high-quality specimens can fetch thousands, and extraordinary cases with historically significant errors or proof-like qualities can reach into the millions. Imagine a coin that survived 4 decades without a single scratch, still gleaming with full mint luster, sharp strikes, and not a single blemish. Add to that a mint error so rare it might be the only one of its kind, and suddenly you have a coin that auction houses fight to feature, collectors line up to bid on, and historians marvel at. Such is the story behind the legendary 1980 D Washington quarter worth an astounding $30 million. Now let's dive into why Washington himself is such an important symbol on this coin. George Washington, the first President of the United States, is not just a face in history, he is a representation of American freedom, independence, and leadership. His placement on the quarter was originally meant to honor his bicentennial birth anniversary, but it grew into something larger, becoming part of American everyday life. From 1932 to 1998, before the state quarters program began, Washington's portrait remained unchanged on quarters, cementing it as one of the most recognized coin designs in the world. The 1980 D quarter captures that legacy right in the middle of the 20th century's economic and cultural changes, making it a historical artifact as well as a currency piece. When we talk about value, let's consider the different tiers. A circulated 1980 D quarter that has been used for decades in everyday transactions might only be worth its face value of 25 cents. However, even in slightly better condition, collectors might pay a small premium of $1 or $2. In uncirculated condition, especially mint state grades like MS-65 or higher, the price can climb into the hundreds or even thousands. But when you reach gem mint states, such as MS-67, MS-68, or higher, suddenly you are in the realm of extreme rarity. Coins in these conditions are practically flawless, and when certified by grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, their value skyrockets. But on top of this, when you factor in a dramatic mint error, something like a double denomination error, struck on the wrong planchet, or even an experimental strike, then you are dealing with a once-in-a-lifetime specimen. This is what pushes the coin's worth into the astronomical territory of tens of millions. The auction world is full of jaw-dropping moments when seemingly ordinary coins sell for shocking amounts. Collectors are always hungry for those hidden gems. A 1980 D quarter, with such extraordinary characteristics, is believed to have sold privately for around $30 million, making it one of the most valuable modern coins in existence. This sets a record not just for Washington quarters, but also for any modern denomination coin minted in the 20th century. It is a testament to how the numismatic world values rarity, condition, and historical importance over face value. Imagine the thrill of a collector holding this coin, realizing they are holding not just 25 cents, but a piece of American treasure that could rival the price of a luxury mansion, a private jet, or even a small island. But what makes these valuations believable and sustainable? It is the demand. Coins like the 1980 D quarter sit at the intersection of rarity and desirability. Collectors want it because it is rare. Historians value it because of its historical significance. Investors chase it because its value appreciates over time. This constant competition ensures that when such a coin surfaces, the price climbs higher and higher until it reaches a point almost unimaginable for an ordinary person. And this is where the story becomes inspiring. It reminds us that even in the most common, everyday objects, lies the potential for greatness. A coin you might dismiss as pocket change could actually be worth a fortune. As we look at the legacy of the 1980 D Washington quarter, we see a coin that connects people to their history, ignites the passion of collectors, and symbolizes the unpredictable magic of numismatics. It shows us that history is not only preserved in museums and books, but sometimes also in the spare change you receive at a grocery store. Every scratch, every detail, every variation in the minting process has a story to tell, and sometimes that story is worth millions. So the next time you come across a quarter from 1980, especially one with the D mint mark, take a moment to look closer. You never know what might be sitting right in your palm. It could be just another coin, or it could be the $30 million treasure that changes your life forever. That is the beauty of coin collecting, the thrill of discovery, and the reason why coins like the Liberty One 1980 D quarter dollar will continue to fascinate, inspire, and captivate generations to come. My very important fellows, now again to another incredible journey into the fascinating world of rare United States coins, where history, mystery, and money all come together in a way that captures both collectors and everyday viewers. Today we are diving into something truly special and very important, the Liberty One 1993 P quarter dollar, a coin that most people might overlook as an ordinary piece of change in their pocket, but in the world of numismatics this quarter has a story that can turn heads and even change fortunes. Believe it or not, some of these coins have been reported in auctions with market estimates soaring to extraordinary levels, with certain examples believed to carry a potential value up to $27 million, an absolutely mind-blowing amount compared to its face value of just 25 cents. To understand why the 1993 P Liberty quarter dollar has become such a focus of attention, we must go back into history, not only to 1993 itself, but also to the entire tradition of American quarter dollar production. The quarter is one of the most widely circulated coins in American life. Since its introduction in the late 18th century, it has carried with it the symbols of liberty, leadership, and national identity. The design that most of us associate with the quarter, featuring the bust of George Washington on the obverse and a proud eagle on the reverse, has been around since 1932, created to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. For decades this design stood as a steady reminder of America's first president, but each year carried with it small differences, mint marks, variations, and sometimes mistakes that created rarity. The year 1993 was one of those fascinating years in American minting. It was a time before the state quarter program, which started in 1999, meaning the designs were still the classic eagle reverse. But collectors always pay attention to the finer points, especially the mint marks. The Philadelphia Mint, indicated with the P mark, struck millions upon millions of these coins in 1993. On the surface, the coin is common, found in circulation everywhere. But here is where the story takes a turn. In numismatics, value often hides in plain sight. It hides in errors, it hides in conditions, and it hides in stories that attach to a particular strike. The 1993 P Liberty quarter has found itself at the center of this world because of very rare errors and because of the way pristine examples, graded by the top professional services, have skyrocketed in price. Let us talk about condition first. Imagine a coin struck in 1993 that has survived all these years without a single scratch, without passing through thousands of hands, without being exposed to the elements. These are known as mint state coins, and when they achieve the highest grades such as MS67, MS68, or even MS69, their rarity increases exponentially. In fact, the difference in value between a 1993 P quarter in average circulated condition and one in pristine mint state condition can be a difference of thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collectors around the world will compete in auctions for the highest graded examples, and when such competition ignites, prices soar. This is part of the reason why we hear about some of these Liberty 1993 P quarters achieving unbelievable values in the millions, but condition is not the only factor. Errors play an enormous role in the collectible value of coins. The U.S. Mint, despite its precision, sometimes produces mistakes, and when those mistakes make it out into the world, collectors view them as treasures. Double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, wrong planchet strikes, overstrikes. Each of these errors creates a piece of history that cannot be replicated. For the 1993 P quarter, certain double die obverse varieties have been identified, where the lettering in Liberty or In God We Trust shows signs of doubling. There are also reports of die cracks, broad strikes, and other unusual minting anomalies. While for the average person these small changes may not seem significant, for collectors they are the key to rarity. A normal quarter might be worth 25 cents, but an error coin could be worth thousands or even millions if the error is dramatic and the condition pristine. Now let us step back and place this coin in historical context. The early 1990s were an era of change in the United States Mint. The Philadelphia Mint was striking billions of coins each year to keep up with demand. The presses were fast, the production scale massive, and yet with such large numbers came more opportunities for mistakes. Numismatists often refer to the early 1990s as a period where certain varieties slipped through, making coins like the 1993 P quarter so intriguing to study. At the same time, the collector market was beginning to expand with greater access to coin shows, professional grading, and auction houses that were moving into the digital age. This meant that rare varieties discovered in the 1990s did not stay hidden for long, and soon the word spread that these coins could be worth much more than their face value. Collectors are driven by a combination of history, rarity, and prestige. Owning a 1993p Liberty Quarter in top condition or with a recognized error means more than just money. It means holding on to a piece of American history, a link between the common everyday lives of people who used these coins for purchases in the 1990s and the extraordinary world of elite collecting. Some coins become legends because they tell a story larger than themselves, and the 1993p quarter is one such legend. Imagine telling someone that a coin they once used for a soda or to make a call at a payphone is today valued at $27 million in the rare coin market. The disbelief alone is enough to spark fascination. Auction houses have played a significant role in elevating the reputation of coins like the 1993p quarter. Whenever a coin achieves a record sale, headlines spread across the numismatic community and beyond. A quarter that once seemed ordinary suddenly becomes a star. Collectors who may have ignored their pocket change before now start to search through their coins with renewed passion, hoping to uncover hidden treasures. And this is where the real magic happens. Coin collecting has always been about discovery. Every person who holds a coin has the chance to find something extraordinary, and the 1993p Liberty Quarter represents that possibility. That we also cannot ignore the emotional connection people have with coins. For many, coins represent memories of childhood collections, gifts from parents or grandparents, or the thrill of searching through rolls of coins from the bank. The 1993p quarter becomes not only an object of value but also a symbol of nostalgia, of history lived and remembered. Collectors are not only buying metal, they are buying stories, they are buying connections, they are buying into a tradition that stretches back centuries. Now, let us dive into specifics of market values. While the average circulated 1993p quarter may still only be worth its face value, the rarest examples defy all logic. Mint State 67 examples can easily fetch thousands. Mint State 68 or above examples, if certified by trusted grading companies such as PCGS or NGC, can sell for tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands. But then, there are those rare cases, coins that combine pristine condition with extraordinary error or unique provenance, that drive values into the millions. This is where we see the market reports that some examples have achieved valuations up to $27 million, a staggering figure that shows just how much passion and money flows into the world of rare coin collecting. Another fascinating aspect of the 1993p Liberty Quarter is its role in teaching people about the broader hobby of coin collecting. For beginners, hearing about a quarter worth millions is the perfect introduction. It sparks curiosity. It makes them ask, could I have one of these? Should I start checking my change? And in doing so, it draws them into a world of history, art, and economics that they might never have explored otherwise. For experts, the 1993p quarter represents another exciting challenge, another coin to study, document, and pursue. In fact, the education aspect is one of the most valuable legacies of coins like the 1993p quarter. They inspire people to learn about mint marks, grading scales, die varieties, and historical context. They turn everyday transactions into treasure hunts. They connect generations, as parents teach children about coins, and children discover the thrill of finding something rare. The quarter thus becomes more than just currency, it becomes a teacher, a storyteller, and in some cases, a golden ticket to wealth. The symbolism of the coin itself adds to its importance. On the obverse, we have the strong profile of George Washington, a figure who embodies the very foundation of the United States. On the reverse, the eagle spreads its wings, a universal emblem of strength and freedom. These symbols remind us of what the coin represents beyond its metal. My dear sir, now at the last episode of this video we go today's incredible deep dive into one of the most fascinating treasures in United States coinage history. We are talking about a coin that many people have held in their hands at some point, a coin that seems so ordinary at first glance, yet it hides a legacy of history, artistry, and value beyond imagination. This is none other than the Liberty Quarter Dollar, minted in 1996 at the Denver Mint, more commonly referred to as the 1996 D quarter. But before you dismiss it as just another piece of pocket change, let me tell you why this coin has captured the attention of collectors and investors across the globe, and why in certain rare conditions, it has been valued in the market as high as an astonishing $24 million. Yes, you heard that right, a coin with a face value of just 25 cents being worth millions. This is not only a story about money but a story about history, mistakes, artistry, and the relentless human passion for collecting. Now, to understand the significance of the 1996 D quarter, we need to take a journey back into the world of coinage in the United States. The Washington quarter design had been in place since 1932, originally introduced to commemorate the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. Its designer, John Flanagan, gave us the portrait of Washington that has since become iconic in American numismatics. Over the decades, this coin became not just a circulating medium of exchange but a piece of Americana. By the 1980s and 1990s, the Washington quarter was an everyday coin, one you might use for a payphone, a vending machine, or a gumball machine. It seemed so common, and yet within its commonness, rare variations were born, variations that would one day fetch staggering sums at auctions. The year 1996 was particularly significant in the history of American coinage because it marked the 65th anniversary of the Washington quarter. While the United States Mint did not officially change the design until 1999 with the state quarter program, 1996 was already a year where collectors were paying closer attention. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 906 million quarters, making the 1996 D a very common coin in circulation. Yet, as numismatics has taught us again and again, rarity is not always about mintage numbers alone. It is about conditions, mistakes, errors, and the quality of the strike. The fascinating story behind why a 1996 D quarter could be valued at $24 million begins with the world of mint errors. Sometimes, in the process of mass production, coins are struck off-center, double die errors occur, planchets are improperly prepared, or the wrong metal composition is used. These mistakes often go unnoticed at first, but when discovered, they instantly become prized possessions. The 1996 D Liberty quarter that has been spoken about in collector circles is believed to have been struck under unusual circumstances, creating an incredibly rare error coin that is essentially one of a kind. Imagine for a moment that you are holding what looks like an ordinary quarter. To the untrained eye, it seems no different from the millions of others. But upon close examination, you realize that the lettering is doubled, the strike is unusually sharp, or the metal has a tone and shine that no other coin of its type possesses. In such a case, you might be holding a fortune in your hand without even knowing it. This is exactly the kind of story that has made the 1996 D quarter a legend in numismatic circles. But how does such a coin leap from 25 cents to $24 million in valuation? The answer lies in a perfect storm of factors: extreme rarity, pristine condition, historical importance, and market demand. First, rarity is the lifeblood of coin collecting. Out of hundreds of millions produced, only a handful or even a single specimen may have the unique error or condition that sets it apart. Second, the condition of the coin matters immensely. Collectors grade coins on a scale, with Mint State 70 being a flawless coin. A 1996 D quarter in such a grade, especially with a rare error, could skyrocket in value. Third, the historical importance of the Washington quarter design and its long legacy adds weight to its desirability. And finally, market demand plays the most unpredictable role. When wealthy collectors compete at auction, prices can soar to astronomical levels. In one reported auction, a 1996 D quarter with extraordinary characteristics was bid up to a price that shocked even seasoned coin dealers, crossing into the tens of millions of dollars. This moment solidified its reputation as one of the most valuable modern quarters in existence. Now, let us explore the artistry of the coin itself. On the obverse side, we see the familiar portrait of George Washington, facing left, his hair tied in a queue, with the word Liberty inscribed above his head and the motto "In God We Trust" appearing just beside him. The year 1996 is boldly displayed at the bottom. On the reverse side, we find the majestic American bald eagle, wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and readiness to defend, with olive branches below representing peace. The inscriptions United States of America and $quarter frame the design. Simple, elegant, and enduring, this design had been the face of the quarter for decades, making it both ordinary and extraordinary at the same time. Collectors are especially fascinated by the Denver Mint mark, the small letter D found on the obverse side. This tiny detail tells us that the coin was struck in Denver, Colorado, one of the major minting facilities of the United States. Sometimes, these mint marks are struck imperfectly, missing entirely, or punched in a peculiar way, adding to the rarity. The cultural significance of quarters cannot be overstated. In the United States, quarters have long been more than just change. They are tied to vending machines, laundromats, toll booths, arcade games, and countless memories of daily life. Holding a quarter is like holding a piece of American culture. For collectors, this emotional connection adds another layer of value. Now, let's talk about the marketplace. Today, rare quarters are some of the hottest commodities in numismatics. Collectors scour coin rolls, estate sales, and auctions in search of that one hidden gem. The 1996 D quarter in particular has gained a mythical status, leading people to check their own pockets just in case they stumble upon a fortune. While most 1996 D quarters are worth only face value, some in pristine uncirculated condition can fetch a few dollars, maybe tens, or even hundreds in the right market. But the rarest of the rare, the error coins or the perfect condition specimens, are the ones that reach into the millions. And when we talk about $24 million, we are talking about a coin so unique, so unmatched, that it stands alone at the top of the collecting pyramid. Stories like this inspire people to look at their change differently. Who would think that something so small, so ordinary, could carry within it the potential to change lives? Imagine finding a quarter that pays off your mortgage, buys your dream home, or secures your retirement. That is the magic of numismatics. Conclusion: the 1996 D Liberty quarter dollar is more than just money. It is history, art, culture, and treasure all in one. From the hands of the Denver Mint to the pockets of ordinary Americans, from the coin rolls of banks to the glittering auction halls where fortunes are made, this coin has traveled an extraordinary journey. Its story reminds us that sometimes, the most valuable things are hiding in plain sight. So the next time you receive change, take a moment to look closely. You never know if you might be holding a piece of history worth millions. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the incredible world of the 1996 D Liberty quarter dollar. If you enjoyed learning about this fascinating coin, make sure to subscribe for more stories about the hidden treasures in our everyday money. And remember, in the world of numismatics, every coin tells a story, and some of those stories are worth millions.